Hey friend, this is Tasha from Lady Boss Studio, and I just want to say welcome to our Intro to Canva video. Now, in today's video, we're going to go over quite a few things. First, we're going to talk about how to create an account. We're going to give you an actual Canva dashboard overview. Then I want to go into the actual overview when you're working within an individual design. We're going to go over text, colors, images and image frames, Canva elements and backgrounds, layers in Canva, and lastly, how to export and download your documents, as well as best practices. So here we are at canva.com. You can actually create a free account with Canva. They also have a Canva Pro upgrade, which I'll talk a little bit about as well. But in order to create a new account, you've got this right here. So design anything, publish anywhere. You can sign up with Google, Facebook, or sign up with your email. So I'm going to go ahead and create a brand new account. Through Lady Boss Studio, we do already obviously create and sell Canva templates. We've already got a Canva account set up with that. So we're going to go ahead and create a separate free one just so you can see the process. So once you're ready, you can just select Get Started. It's free. Now keep in mind, you will also be receiving an email in order to confirm your account. So go ahead in your email as well and be sure to confirm that. So here we are right in the Canva dashboard. So every time you log into Canva, this is where you're going to end up. I want to go through just a couple things quickly here. First of all, up the top left-hand side is where you have access to your profile settings. So if you select the little arrow pointing down, you can change your account settings, your profile. If you're looking for help, you can find it that way as well. If you did want to go ahead and add a profile picture, you could do so up here where it says Add Your Picture. Now going below this, you'll see there's a nice turquoise button here, Create a Design. There are 3 different places you can create a design right here from the Canva dashboard. You can select this option right here. You can start typing in here what exactly it is that you're looking for, so brochure or presentation, Instagram post. You can also scroll through if you want to look at what else is available here. The other options are right here where you can actually visually see what all of these will look like. You can hit the arrow keys to keep going down further. So you can see all that's available. The other option is if you're trying to create something custom, over here you'll have custom dimensions. So you can go ahead and enter pixels, or if you hit that drop down, you can select inches, millimeters, centimeters, depending on what your unit of measurement is. In most cases, you'll probably be using pixels. So those are the 3 ways that you can sort of create a new design from scratch. Next up is how to access designs that you've created. You can't see it here yet because we haven't created anything, but this option here on the left-hand side where it says all your designs, that will give you the option to find them all. It'll also show up right here at the top too. It'll say all your designs. Once you've started creating and saving designs, they will show up right here on your dashboard as well. So you could go ahead and just pick one based on the image and you know what it is that you're looking for because you created it. Lastly, on the left here is going to be the folder section. So with your Canva free account, you can have up to 2 different folders. So if you wanted to separate your designs between website and print, or if you were trying to do client designs. If you have a Canva Pro account, you can have unlimited folders and then unlimited subfolders within those folders. That's one of the perks for having Canva Pro. If you do have lots of designs for lots of different aspects of your business, you can really keep that organized. Going back up to the top here, Brand Kit is a Canva Pro feature. So you could go ahead and upload logos, your brand colors, upload your brand fonts. So that way they were easily accessible at the click of a mouse anytime you needed them when you were creating any type of design. And photos and templates are templates that Canva has available for you to choose from. So you could select it based on the category and look at what they have available, and same thing with photos. So if you clicked on photos, these are all the photos that are available. They'll tell you maybe what's trending. If you're looking for different color palettes, you can find that all here. Now keep in mind, if you do see the $sign here, you can see that some are free, some are premium, they've got that $sign. So you can hover over it and it'll tell you right away what's included and what's not. There's free images, there's Canva Pro images that are included, and then there's also premium images. And lastly, which I'm not going to delve into too much today, is if you wanted to create a team. So let's say you were a business owner and you had a couple VAs working under you, or you had other people that needed to contribute design-wise to your business. You could create an actual team. There is a cost to doing that, so you can look into it if that's something that you need, but know that it is an option. You wouldn't necessarily have to be providing them with your own Canva credentials to log in. So now the more exciting part, which is what it actually looks like in the main dashboard for when you're editing an individual design. So I'll go over just the different components that you'll find there and how to use them. Now, as I said before, you can choose one of Canva's pre-created layouts, and you can do so as easy as clicking on it, and it will go ahead and open up in a second tab here. You can then add your own images, change colors, and do all that, which I will go over. Now, if you have purchased a Lady Boss Studio template, you'll get this wonderful PDF that walks you through step by step a lot of what I'm going to cover in today's video as well, but also provides you with your design links. So I'm just going to scroll down here to where the links would actually be, and each of these download buttons will download that link and open it right up into Canva for you. So if we did go ahead and click on this link for a lead magnet, it'll open up. It'll tell you that it was created by Lady Boss Studio, and you can go ahead and use template. You'll notice once again it was already opened in another tab. So if you ever needed to go back to your Canva dashboard, it will always be there in the very first tab. So going back over here to the lead magnet, I just want to cover quickly what the different options are here, and then I'll actually delve into sort of editing the document itself and the different things that you can do within Canva. So starting up on the left-hand side here where it says File, this is where it'll allow you to sort of do a few things for the file in general. So if you wanted to create a new design, you could click that here as well. If you were trying to print a document, you could show your margins. You could also show your bleeds. All you have to do in order to turn those on or off is just toggle them back off again. So it's as simple as that. You also have the option to save, which Canva does automatically every about 3 seconds. You'll see all changes saved. It'll update every single time you make a change to the document, which is really convenient. You can also make a copy of a document. So if you did purchase a template and you wanted to maintain an original copy of that template, just in case later on you wanted to create something else with it, you could make a copy of this, and it will literally open up the exact same one in the next tab over, and it will be called copy of whatever the template was called. You could also do that within Canva as well. Within the regular templates that they provide you, you could very easily hit File, make a copy. So I'm going to close the copy of the lead magnet I created and go back over here. Resize is a feature that only comes available with Canva Pro, but it's actually quite fantastic. If I created something that was an Instagram square size and wanted to quickly resize all of the elements to an Instagram story size, which would be a lot more vertical in nature, I could very easily hit this magic resize, and within a click of a mouse, it would be resized to that size of an artboard. You may have to still do some jigging to make it perfect, but it's so much easier than trying to go back to File and then create a brand new design and then copying and pasting everything over. It's a much more efficient way of doing it, and as far as I'm concerned, pretty awesome. This is here will update and tell you when all of the changes are saved. Over here, like I said before, is where the title is. You can go ahead and click on this anytime and rename your design or template to be whatever you'd like. Share is how you would be able to share the designs with anybody. Now, you can see here it says you must confirm your account before sharing a design. All right, so I went ahead and just confirmed the email addresses. It wouldn't let me actually look at the options to share a document without doing that. So with the Canva free account, you have the option to either share a design that somebody can edit or share a design that somebody can only view. And if you do have Canva Pro, you have those two options, but then you also have the ability to share a design as a template. So if you were trying to share this with others, that would be the way to do so that they wouldn't be able to change or edit your original design. So that's really great. You can also enter somebody's email address and choose it that way, or if you're trying to share it with them as a link, you can click this little drop down here. And you can see here it says share a link, use this template is only available in the Pro, which is what that little crown means. Over here on the right hand side, next is the download option. So if you open that little down arrow, you can see there's PNG, JPEG, PDF standard, print. There's a beta version for video and an animation or GIF, which is part of the Pro subscription. Now, a lot of times people aren't really sure which file type they're supposed to choose. I mean, it's pretty obvious when you need a PDF, but a lot of people aren't really sure when to use a PNG or when to use a JPEG. If you do use one of our templates, we do break that down for you in the actual instruction guide. We go through sort of when to use which file type and why. So you can see here we have the JPEG, the PDF, the PNG, and the PDF print. So we do cover that for you. But know that PNG is a much larger file size than a JPEG. So if you're trying to put this on your website, it's probably not recommended because if you're doing a lot of these, it will slow down your website. Now, if you are printing something and you need a really high quality PDF, then you may need to use PDF print, but otherwise use the PDF standard, especially again if you're uploading this to a website. If you do PDF print, it's going to be a massive document, massive size document, which you probably don't want, whereas a PDF standard will be much smaller. The last thing here is the ability to select individual pages. So if you only wanted to select a couple pages within the design to print, you could do that. If you just wanted to select one, you could do that. If you want all of them, then just don't touch anything and you could hit download. Now over here under publish, there are a few other options here. If you wanted to do a presentation, you want to share a link, you want to download. Some of these are repetitive. You do have the option to publish to some different social media platforms. If you wanted to send this via email, if you do show more, there's quite a few other options here, some of which, as you can see, are Canva Pro options. So there's all these different ways that you can sort of publish a template. Microsoft PowerPoint, if you're doing a presentation, you want to send it over to PowerPoint, that's kind of a really great option that I've used as well. So next up at the bottom quickly is the ability to zoom in or out. There is no way to sort of scroll up or down to zoom in or out of the page. You manually have to select what point of zooming or unzooming you'd like. So you can change that here. This next little icon, which is the page manager, is possibly my favorite option. Actually, one of my favorite options in all of Canva. So if you click on the page manager, especially if you're doing something like an ebook or a lead magnet, it allows you to see everything all at once. So if you did want to move around any of your pages, you could quickly just drag and drop them, which is fantastic. You can also delete pages. You can duplicate pages, and then you can add a blank page if you'd like, and then move it in between if you were trying to create something new in between those two spots. So this page manager for me, as far as I'm concerned, is one of my favorite options. So keep that in mind if you are working on a multi-page document. It allows you just to get a much better sort of overview of what you're working on. When you're done with that, you can just hit the X. It'll get you out of the page manager. Next up to the right here is help. So if you really can't figure something out, or you're looking for maybe an advanced tutorial or advanced information on something, you can click the help button, you can search, or you can sort of fall under one of these categories depending on what you're looking for. Now, the left-hand side menu, which is sort of where all of the goodies are, which we're going to go through in detail over most of them, but this is where you're going to find whether it's pre-created templates from Canva, photos from within Canva, elements, which are native Canva elements, so icons or shapes or gradients and that type of thing, text, so all your different text boxes, videos. Canva's just introduced some actual stock videos that they've made available, so it's not a massive library yet like the photos is, but they're definitely growing it. Backgrounds, so if you want to change the background of an actual design, there are quite a few options there. Uploads would be where you upload your own images, so if you had a stock photo subscription or your logos or other brand collateral that you were trying to make something similar in Canva that you already had that existed, you could upload it into there. Your folder, so that's similar to what we covered on the main dashboard page. You could have access to your different folders there. And then more gives you a few different options. Most of these are Canva Pro options, like the Pexels and Pixabay. So now we're going to dive into text. So before you can actually access the text toolbar or edit any text, you have to select a text box. So as I hover over any of these text areas, you can see that there's a box that sort of shows up. So let's go ahead and click on one. So that's the text box. Once I've clicked on the text, you're going to see up here on the left-hand side, the text toolbar has shown up. So first up we have font. You can select the down arrow. These are all the fonts that are available within Canva. There's an extremely large amount. Anything with a crown beside is only available through Canva Pro. All of the others are available with your free Canva account. Now going next is the font size, so you can go ahead and see all of these. Now perhaps, depending on the font you need a size bigger than 144, or you need maybe something in between 72 and 80. You can just type in whatever font size you'd like. So I could type in maybe 78 here. So you can literally pick any font size you want, or you can pick one of the pre-decided sizes that are here. You can then choose your font color. Any of the initial colors you see up here are colors that are going to be currently present in the document that you are in. So this document, which is our rose gold ebook templates, All of these colors are currently within these templates. Now, just below that are the Canva default colors, so those will be in there by default. The other option is that you can hit the plus, and that will give you the ability to select any color under the rainbow, and you can also enter in a hex code. So if you've already got your brand colors predetermined, you could enter in that hex code there. Now, if you did have a Canva Pro account, you'd also have one more option here that says brand colors. So you can predetermine your brand colors, and those will always be there for easy access for you to click on those colors. Go back to the original size of the text. Once you start making changes within a document, you're going to notice at the top here you'll have forward and backward keys. So let me just go ahead and change this to black. Now moving on here, some fonts will have the option to bold the font. So if that option is available, you'll be able to select the B for bold, italicize. Here is how you can align the text. You can left align, you can justify, left align, or right align, and center. Here you have the option to either select all caps or lowercase letters, so you can toggle back and forth between the two. You can have bullets as well as numbered lists, and if you select it again, it'll go back to having nothing. And now your spacing. So this is really great depending on what you're creating. You can increase the size of the spacing in between the letters, but you can also increase the size in between the spacing of each line of text. So if you were trying to create an ebook and you really needed to adjust that space, that could be extremely convenient. A few other features are up here on the right-hand side, so you could duplicate a text box if you wanted to. If you were looking to create another text box with the exact same text in it, the duplicate function is really nice and easy. So next would be the position tool. So if you were looking to have text either in front or behind another element, you could use this position tool and you could move it back, forward, you can move it to the front, you can move it back, you can move it all the way to the back. So you do have those options. You can also align it to different places on the page with these options here. So that can be extremely convenient. It's not aligning it left or right because we've already selected center over here. It's not going to change that here for us, but we can align it to the top, middle, or the bottom. So I'm just going to go back just so we can get it back to exactly where it was. There we go. Now, something that is extremely convenient, especially if you're creating, let's say, a checklist. And I'm going to go ahead and create a brand new page quickly. So these are all the templates that are available within our Rose Gold ebook. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Feel free to check this amazing ebook out. Let's create a new page, and I'm just going to hit T for text. That's a shortcut. It'll give you a quick little paragraph text. I'm just going to say this is, I can't spell today. All right, so let's say I wanted that, and then I wanted, which I'm going to cover elements in a minute, but just to give you a quick understanding of how useful this position tool is. So let's just go ahead and get this to be square. Way small. Say we're creating a checklist, and I wanted, maybe 10 of these, and I needed them to be identical. So I could duplicate, which is great because then I can drag it over and make sure it's aligned. Now, what I'm also going to do is select these two boxes, and I'm going to group them. That way they're sort of treated as one element. And I'm going to do the same for this one. I'm going to group it. Now I'm going to drag my mouse and select both of those, and I'm going to duplicate those again. So now, in a matter of seconds, I've created 4 checkbox lines. Now, these aren't necessarily all perfectly lined up on the left, and they're probably not all perfectly spaced out. So I can select all of them. I can go up to my position tool, and I can space them evenly vertically and horizontally. So I now have my checkbox, and these are all perfectly aligned. There's no question about it. I'm not sitting here trying to, zoom in to the point where I can try to figure this out by eye. I know that these are perfectly aligned. Once they're all ready to go, I could even ungroup them as individual sets of 2, and I could regroup them as a whole if I wanted to. And that way, there's no way that I can mess those up. I can also increase or decrease the size of both of them or all of them at the same time. So it's a really, really convenient tool when it comes to the position option. You do have to have selected multiple items in order for that to work. You can't just select one text box. Let me just go ahead and select this all and delete it, and then we can easily delete that page. if I wanted to make my website here a link, so someone downloads my ebook via PDF, I want them to be able to click right here and go right to my website. Once you've selected the text box, you can hit this link button and you could type in the link where you wanted that person to go to. So let's just say ladybossstudio.com. I can hit apply. Now once I've printed this as a PDF, someone opens it, they would be able to click down below here and end up automatically right on my website. So you can do links for anything. The only thing is you cannot currently, Canva may change this in the future, only link one piece of the text to a link. The entire text box is linked to the same place no matter where you would click on that text box. So I can't just select templates and hit link. It's going to link this whole box. So anywhere anybody clicks on this box is going to automatically go to my website. Not a big deal unless you are trying to create several links within maybe one paragraph. Then you're going to have to break that up into individual text boxes, which can be cumbersome. But for the most part, links end up being sort of on their own like this, like you see here. The other option, if you're starting from scratch, is to select text here on the left-hand side. This will give you the option to add a heading, a subheading, a little bit of body text, as well as a whole bunch of different text layouts that Canva's already pre-created for you that you can then change what the actual text says, what the font is, font size, color, all that good stuff. So these are all here for you to choose and then work with so you're not stuck completely working from scratch if that's where you're at. And lastly, probably one of my favorite little tools that you can actually use for both text as well as shapes and tints and gradings that you apply to images is this wonderful little paintbrush tool here, or paint roller tool. It says copy style. So what you can do is select any piece of text in your document, select this copy style, select the new text box, and it'll automatically take on the style of whichever one that you copied. So that can be extremely convenient if you're doing something like, just scroll down. Let's say you had these two paragraphs. You decided that you wanted to change the font. We're going to go do a Garamond, and you also wanted to change the color. So let's just pick this here. Now, instead of having to go back here and select the color all over again and then go find the font all over again, I could select this text box, hit the copy style, select this text box, boom, it's done. So it just allows you, especially if you're dealing with a template from scratch, to really make it your own a lot faster instead of having to click each individual paragraph on every single page and redo those two things. So it's a really nice and simple way to do it. The other nifty little trick that Canva's just come out with is if you select whether it's text or even a shape and you decide to change its color, so let's go pick this beautiful red color over here. So it changed it to red. You'll notice at the bottom here, it's asking you if you want to change every possible instance where text is this color in your entire document to this color. So if you've purchased a template and you need to brand it to your colors quickly, this is an unbelievable solution. So if I hit change all of a sudden every piece of text in my entire document that was that color of blue was just changed over to the red. So that just made it unbelievably easy. Now, I'm not saying you want to choose this red because maybe it's not exactly working with this particular ebook, but the option is amazing. Now, just because you did it with the text, that won't carry over to shapes. I can still do it with shapes, but then they'll just apply on their own. So if I clicked on this shape box, I could do the exact same thing. Select the color, select this color here, and at the bottom you'll see again, change all. Now, all the shapes that were that color of blue have now been converted over to that sort of salmon-y orange color. So let's go back a few times here. There we go, just to make this all look beautiful like the way that it was. So overall, those are the main ways that you can edit text to make it as easy on you as possible to not only change a template, but even if you're starting from scratch. Now it's time to quickly chat about images and image frames. So if you purchase a template, or even if you're using a pre-designed layout from Canva, like the one we had originally chosen, anywhere you see an image is an image frame that you can then drag either your own image or a Canva image right into as easy as drag and drop. So let's go back to our ebook template here. On the left-hand side, you can select photos. This will give you all of the different options for photos that are within Canva. So for the most part, these here, when I scroll over them, you'll see it says free. So I can go ahead here and type in anything I'd like within the search bar, so I can just type in desk. Let's say that's what I wanted. It's going to give me all the free images that are available that have sort of desk as a tag within them. Now, these are the free images. Canva Pro also has access to a whole whack of stunning images that we use actually for a lot of our templates. Now, within this rose gold ebook, just as a side note, these are our stock photos that we've taken and are actually included within the templates. So it's as easy as simply picking one of the photos from within Canva and dragging it into place. Let me go ahead and choose another one here. So drag it in. Now, just because I've dragged that in here, maybe it doesn't quite fit the space perfectly. So I can always double click, and I can now enlarge, move the photo around in case there was another area of the image that I thought was more appropriately to be shown here within the document. I can also select the image frame, and I can flip horizontal or vertical, depending on what the image is. In this case, it wouldn't make sense, but you could do that as well. You can actually also adjust the images. So you can play around with the brightness, the contrast, the actual tint. So if you needed something that has slightly more of like a pink tint, you could very easily add that just right within Canva. You can also blur your images. So if you just wanted something that was sort of providing the slight visual of an image, but you didn't want the distraction, you just wanted the text to be front and center, you could do that as well. And then Vignette's going to add a shadow around the edges. As you can see here, it's adding that shadow. So it's sort of highlighting what would be within the center of that image. And then you can also reset it, so it just goes back to its normal. Now, the other option for photos is uploading your own. So I can go ahead to Uploads, go to my computer, go to my stock photos folder, and select any one of the beautiful stock photo images that I've downloaded and add that in very quickly. So let's just say we wanted to add this one here, which is from Hope Stock, one of my favorite. And we give it some time to load because it's probably a pretty large photograph. And just simply drag it in and look how beautiful that looks. Again, I could flip it. I could add a filter, which is like a predetermined filter that Canva's already figured out. So you can click on any of these. You can play with the intensity of it. I don't want any filters, so I can go back to none and have it just the way that it was. And that just looks absolutely gorgeous as far as I'm concerned. So as with text, you can also change the opacity or transparency of it. So if you wanted to go ahead and lighten that up a little bit, again, to make your text pop, you can do that. One thing that helps me out tremendously, whether I'm creating templates or something for my business, is the lock feature that you'll see up here. So what that means is once you select an element, it could be text, it could be a shape, it could be an image. If you lock it, I can then select everything else on the page, move it all around, and that background image isn't going to move anywhere, which is wonderful, especially even in this case where I've created sort of a border element. You can see here with the rose gold. I could select all of those elements and lock them, so that way I could move my text around without moving anything else around, which I do quite often. So that way I can get everything else just right, and then once I'm done, I can unlock the rest of the items. So similar to text, you can also add a link to an image as well. So if you had an image in, maybe it's an image of a product, you could select that image and you can link it back to your website or your product page, same as you could with text. And the other thing too here is the ability, once again, to change the size of an image frame. So if maybe you just wanted something that was just vertical and maybe centered to the page, slightly behind the text, you could very easily do that just by moving around that little toolbar option. So lastly for images is the ability for you to add your own image frames. So over here on the left-hand side under Elements, let's get out of Shapes, you can go down and you're going to see where it says Frames. If you select See All, every single one of these shape layouts, whether it be computer mock-ups, any of these cool little extras, you can actually just drag and drop a photo into. So let's go ahead and create a blank page and I'll just give you a good idea of what those look like. All right, so I'm just going to select a few of these just so we can see. And what else do we need? Oh, the letters are actually really awesome. So let's select an R. I'll just give you a good idea of dragging a photo, sort of what that looks like. So I'll just drag the same photo in, but you can make up some really, really awesome visuals by being able to drag a photo inside a shape, inside a letter, or a computer mock-up if you're trying to maybe draw attention to a course or a product. So these are really great. If you are looking for just a straight sort of rectangle or square that you can manipulate similar to what I was doing in the video before, your best option is to select this very first grid here. So let me just go to the next page. The grid will always cover the entire canvas. You can then circle around, so it can be the size and the shape that you want. But the actual grid here is going to be the best option to select. Instead of trying to select the square or rectangle frame, always go for that grid. Under grids, there's also a whole bunch of different layouts. If you're trying to create a sort of mood board or collage, Canva has a whole bunch of pre-designed layouts that you can add and then just drag and drop your photos into really nice and easily. So one of the things I absolutely adore about Canva over any of the Adobe products that I use is the inclusion of an unbelievable amount of things like stickers and gradients, lines, illustrations, icons, you get the point, that are just easily accessible at the click of a mouse. Whereas if I was using Illustrator, I'd have to try to create this from scratch or purchase one that's already been created by somebody else. So within any of these here, you can click on them, they show up, and for the most part, you can then change the colors. So it makes it really nice and easy to sort of choose something and then make it your own to match your brand colors. Back over here in Elements, it's the same thing with lines. You can also search. So Canva really gives you the option. They'll always offer you featured ones. You can hit see all for any of these and see what's available. Like I said, for the most part, you can change the colors of them, so you can really brand them to match what you've got going on. There's a lot of cool little things you can add to corners or layer on top of social media graphics to really make them yours. Now moving on to backgrounds. These are quite interesting because a lot of people don't realize if you select one of these backgrounds, you can then still change the color. You'll notice up here, the color here is blue. I can go ahead and select pink, and all of a sudden I've changed that background color. So I'm not necessarily stuck to whatever the background is showing here. Same thing with even with this sort of water background, I can go ahead and sort of tint that so it has more of the hue that'll match my brand color. So I think that's really awesome. You can really add some interesting backgrounds to your designs. Let's go ahead and select this one here. You can make it to be sort of a lot more of a pink feel. Again, you can really transform these backgrounds and make them match your brand perfectly. If you decided you didn't want the background anymore, you could click on it, hit delete, and it'll be gone to whatever the main background color was before. I could hit delete again and it'll go back to white. Alternatively, I could just select the color option here and then change my whole background to whatever color I wanted to. So lastly, I just want to make sure that you know how much easier your life can be when you're using shortcuts. So a lot of the shortcuts are actually sort of universal. So you would use them whether you're using Word or Photoshop or Illustrator or any other type of design program. And in our Canva link and design guide, we actually include all of the different shortcuts that you can use within Canva to really make your life a lot easier. We also share our top 3 shortcuts as well. So if you go ahead and make a purchase from us, you'll have access to those printable shortcuts as well. Now, don't forget, we also have a wonderful membership, which gives you an all-access pass to all of our templates, our courses, and ebooks. You can also visit our shop directly at ladybossstudio.com and see all of our wonderful items in the shop that will really simplify as well as speed up your ability to completely brand your business from start to finish. Thank you so much for watching our Intro to Canva video. I really hope this goes a long way into helping you be so much faster and more confident, not only in Canva, but with your entire brand design. If you do have any questions, please go ahead and reach out anytime. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks. Have a great day.